Hey, what's up, everybody? Tommy Meyer here. Well, here we are. It's election day. This is the day that we have all been waiting for, I guess. The final polls are in. All of the forecasts are frozen, so it's a good time to take a look at the state of the race. Currently, 538 gives Joe Biden an 89% chance of winning. Now, to compare that to 4 years ago, Hillary Clinton was given a 71, nearly a 72% chance of winning. Going into some of the crosstabs here, let's take a look at how we're looking in some of the swingier states. Pennsylvania is considered the most likely tipping point state right now, and Joe Biden currently is being given an 84% chance of winning Pennsylvania. He's leading in polls by anywhere from about 5 to 7 points, but don't get too comfortable with that 84% chance, because if you'll remember, that is also the chances that Hillary was given to win Wisconsin. But luckily, Joe Biden has a number of backup plans. He's also ahead in Arizona, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, albeit by smaller margins. He's given about 70% chance of winning Florida. %64 chance in North Carolina. Georgia's essentially a toss-up. 58% chance. All in all, Joe Biden's currently ahead in 351 electoral votes worth of states. But Tommy, the polls, what if they're wrong? The forecast and the polls, they were wrong in 2016. You're correct, Steve. Let's take a look then at what would happen if the polls were, let's start with if they're exactly as off as they were in 2016. So, according to the New York Times Upshot average of polls, Biden would lose North Carolina, and he would lose Maine's 2nd district. And that's it, actually. He'd still have 335 electoral votes worth of states. But in the New York Times averages, Biden would be ahead by less than a point in Florida, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. That would still net him 270 electoral points, enough to win, but barely squeak by. Now, of course, the polls are not going to be exactly as off as they were 4 years ago. They could be worse. They could be better. They could be off in Trump's direction, or they could be off in Biden's direction. If you take the average polling error, which is 3%, and apply it to Biden's current polling position, here is what you get. So, let's assume first that the polls are off by 3% in Trump's direction, because that is basically the nightmare scenario for folks. Well, the map would look eerily similar to this one. He would lose Arizona. He would still lose Georgia, Florida, and North Carolina, but he would win Pennsylvania. But he would only win Pennsylvania by just over a point and a half. So it's a squeaker. Now let's assume that the polls are wrong in the other direction, meaning that they're underestimating Biden. Well, he would definitely win Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, and Arizona. He would take back Maine's 2nd district. He would also come out on top in Ohio, Iowa, and Texas. So basically, if you apply the average polling error, this election is somewhere between a landslide and a squeaker. But Tommy, what do you think is going to happen? What's your prediction? Asked no one. Well, I'm going to tell you. Here is how I see this night going, and you may think I'm crazy. I am going to give Trump Iowa. I'm also going to give Trump Florida. That's right. I think that Trump is going to win Florida. But I'm giving Biden Texas, and I'm giving him Ohio, and here's why. Texas is a low turnout state, and the voters who don't turn out often are Hispanic voters who tend to vote Democratic. Texas has already surpassed their 2016 voting numbers in terms of turnout. They did so yesterday or the day before. Democrats on the ground are feeling very bullish about it, though, of course, that's what they're going to say. But we're hearing more negative stuff out of Florida, which I'll get to in a second. Polls also have a hard time, pollsters often have a hard time polling Texas. Texas, you don't register by party, so it's hard for pollsters to know that they're getting the right mix of Democrats and Republicans and independents. Also, the hard-to-reach population is the Hispanic population, many of whom don't speak English, which is why many polls underestimate Democrats in the Southwest, Texas and Arizona. So Biden being down by a point or two could translate to him winning by a point or two, or three, or five. No, he's not going to win by five. That's one of the only things that I can guarantee this election. Now, on to Florida. Why am I giving Florida to Trump? Well, it's a nail-biter in Florida. Biden's given about a 69% chance to win Florida. He is up by approximately 2.5 points. Moreover, Democrats on the ground there are saying that they're having trouble reaching a lot of low propensity voters. The Puerto Ricans in Florida tend to vote Democratic, whereas Cubans tend to vote Republican. And the turnout of the Cuban population seems up, whereas the turnout of the Puerto Rican population seems down. Now, Democrats, Joe Biden is expected to lose ground in terms of Hispanic. Trump is going to be gaining Hispanic support from where he was in 2016. I know, it's weird, but it is what it is. Joe Biden was hoping to make up for that with the senior vote. Seniors are not breaking overwhelmingly for Trump like they did in 2016, but I don't know that he's going to be able to make up that deficit. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I don't look like a fool at the end of this. I hope that this map doesn't come back to haunt me. My best guesstimate is that Biden wins with 378 electoral votes to Trump's 160. When will we know? I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I don't know. We could know tonight on election night. Really, it depends on what happens in Florida. And so that should tell you how likely we are to know the results. Florida counts their mail ballots pretty quickly, and they said that they will have results by election night. If Joe Biden wins Florida, he's almost guaranteed to win the election. 538 gives him more than a 99% chance of winning the election if he wins Florida. Also, we should be getting the results in North Carolina and possibly even Georgia and Ohio on election night. So again, if if Biden wins any of those states, it is looking like a good night for him. If Trump wins any of those states, then it's anybody's game. It could come down to what happens in Pennsylvania. So, friends in Pennsylvania, you better fucking vote. I will find you and I will kill you. I have a particular set of skills, and it's not killing. It's nerding out on polls and stuff like that. But this could be a cool killy thing. Stabby. Probably. Jesus spikes. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week, supposing that the world hasn't ended. Oh, my stomach hurts. Oh. 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 Nah, we're gonna be fine.